So, Alina, you own a successful catering business called Anatolia. Why did you decide to start this business?
I've always been a big fan of travel and food from different countries. I'd thought about starting my own catering business for a while, but it wasn't until we moved to a small town on the south coast of England that it became a real possibility. It would have been too costly to start a business living in London with 2 school-aged children to support. My husband and I probably would have stayed in London if he hadn't been offered a more senior role in his company elsewhere, so it seemed like it was meant to be.
It certainly sounds like it. So how did your business start out?
Well, one weekend, while I was walking around the local food market, I quickly noticed there wasn't much variety of food available, unlike in London. I felt a stall offering something different would be quite appealing to locals, so I sent in an application for a new market stall specialising in Turkish street food. To my surprise, the application was accepted in no time at all. I then set about developing dishes that were not only affordable for customers, but would also allow me to earn enough money to make a profit.
And was the menu at the market stall an instant success?
It wasn't an immediate hit with the locals, but after a few months I had a good number of loyal customers, most of whom were quite well travelled and were familiar with Turkish cuisine. The great thing about market stalls is that you have direct interaction with the people buying your food, so I got to know what was missing from my current menu and adapted it accordingly. Customers said there was too much fast food at the market, so I concentrated on healthier options. This helped to bring in more business and meant that I could justify charging a little more than other food stalls around me, as the dishes became more sophisticated.
How did you advertise your business to more people?
To start with, most people found out about us via word of mouth, which worked very well in such a small town. Later on, I placed adverts in the local paper and on the town's website, though by that time I already had plenty of customers.
This then led to you starting your own private catering business. How did this come about?
Well, I started by handing out flyers advertising my catering service to customers at the market. Nothing happened in the first few weeks until, one day, someone asked if I'd cater for their wedding. There were 60 guests to cater for in total. It meant getting a different licence, which I didn't have any trouble with. I needed extra staff to support me, and I quickly realised it was far from straightforward. The thing is, you're hiring people for individual jobs rather than full-time employment, which limits your options significantly. In the end, I had to ask my husband to help out, and fortunately the wedding was a big success. But for the first few months in the new business, I had too much work and not enough people to help.
I heard that you once catered for the Turkish ambassador. What was that like?
Well, I didn't really have time to get nervous as I was so focused on getting everything right. I discovered that manta, a type of dumpling, was the ambassador's favourite, so I served that. They're notoriously difficult to make, so I was pleasantly surprised when he came into the kitchen to thank me personally.
That's a great story. So what does the future hold for you?
Well, I'll probably continue with the catering company for the time being, but eventually I'd like to set up something bigger. I'd like to encourage people to learn to make Turkish food themselves, using the right ingredients. I plan to try and publish my recipes first, and then, if the book's a success, open a small shop selling my books and ingredients to cook with.